We say not to cut corners. Do your defense work properly, and for the home side, get this wonderful crowd behind you.
And this crowd is ready, so are the players. We're underway. Big game in the Central Division, number 1 versus number 3. Louisville and Tulsa matching up on Friday night to kick off Labor Day weekend in the championship. Gómez returning from injury, dropping this back to Sawahi, who returns to the starting 11 for the first time in a while. Gibson will play in between the two. Jimenez looking a bit lively here at the outset. Floated forward for Greg. Stabs this back and struck by Del Piccolo. Goes McCabe, whose hair is darkened a few shades since his early season run with peroxide.
Yeah, this match has all the makings of a really good physical battle. These two teams have bumped heads a few times. 2 wins to LouCity, 1 to Tulsa, all by a single goal, 3-2, 2-3, 2-1. And a few comments between coaches and players in between. So I think it's all set up for a real rumble in the jungle here tonight.
Jimenez leading Ombi. Jimenez again, his first home game since the home opener against Atlanta this year. Ball across, Del Piccolo knocked it wide.
Oh, Del Piccolo.
A bit of early applause here from the crowd.
Absolutely, Del Piccolo. He scored in the last match against Birmingham Legion. We're just thinking, is he going to do it again in this season where he scored more than in any other season? Ombi always putting balls in from that right-hand side. Such a crucial part of LouCity going forward. How wide is Piccolo? Maybe a yard or 2, but what a good chance.
Del Piccolo career high in goals. Ombi career high in assists. He has 7. This portion of tonight's game is brought to you by Toyota. Let's go places. Ahead for Greg. Greg went down, play on. Greg lashes. This deflects back. Struck across for Gómez. It's out of his reach.
A good view of Carl Gregg early on, and of course with no Cam Lancaster around, it will be up to Carl Gregg up front to make it all happen. Getting some support there from Niall McCabe. It just shows you what Gregg brings to the party. He's a battler. He's a physical guy up front. He did well. He took the knocks, got back up and got a shot, and from there was a little half chance for LouCity, but they're on the front foot, the home side, with this awesome crowd pushing them on.
Gary, if I told you that in each of the last 5 FC Tulsa matches there have been at least 3 goals scored, you'd say what?
Defense?
To be fair, they've scored a lot of them. Ombi comes in on Lewis. That's a harsh slide by Gómez. And it's the first intervention by the referee tonight, John Motto. And he's done well to go back and check on Sheldon. This could have been a far nastier challenge with full contact.
Got to be careful there, Jonathan Gómez. Such a wonderful talent at age 17, but no need to slide in there. It's the other half of the pitch, not like you're defending on the edge of your box. Just, stand up, let Sheldon get the ball, close him down, trying to nick it off him, because now the referee's got his eyes out on you.
Forward, Louisville's had most of the ball thus far. DaCosta plays this in reverse. Tulsa this year, playing their 20th game. They've scored first in 10 of those matches. They've only dropped points in 1 of those instances. They've won every game at which they've led at halftime. So a good start here on the road, particularly if it gets onto the score sheet. Portends well for the roadside. Let's take a look at tonight's weather report. It's brought to you by Advanced ENT and Allergy. Ahead of the curve, relief around the corner, serving Louisville, Central Kentucky, and Southern Indiana. This is exactly why you come out late in summer, isn't it?
Perfect conditions for playing soccer. And by the way, I want to pick up on what you said. Tulsa, when leading at halftime, have won all 8 of their matches. LouCity's 4 losses have come from games in which they've conceded first. So maybe in any game, Of course, the first goal to score is important, but this one could be vital for whoever scores the first goal.
That's Tosh with the foul. And a quick restart here. This is Super Dario Suarez. To be entirely frank, the last game at One Oak Field, Louisville looked simply lost trying to mark, what do we call, front five from FC Tulsa.
Do you blame them?
It's fascinating, isn't it? You look, you mentioned Melodo coming up from midfield. You're talking about a guy 30 on his back, goal and an assist. You mentioned he could be one of 5 all-time on 30 goals, 30 assists. But Michael Ensian's got a wealth of experience and talent to swing forward.
There he is, just keeping an eye on the match. And the danger with that is you can be wonderful going forward and then struggle to keep a tight defense. And for Tulsa, no clean sheets in the last 10 games. Well, that tells you a story. It tells you that they're wonderful and exciting to watch, but maybe just need to focus a little bit on the defense, or maybe they feel, hey, you know, if you score 1, we'll score 2.
Cave swept that forward. How enthralling is that as a player? You're, of course, a former goalkeeper. I'm not sure you love the idea of leaving things open-ended, but you sort of feel like, well, if we're a little bit loose in the back, so be it. We can always go get it back. There's sort of an excitement, a vigor in that.
Yeah, look, Barcelona would be a good example of looking at them going forward. They're absolutely stunning, and they do concede more than they should, but they win almost every game they play because they're so good going forward. All I'll say is this: when you get to the playoffs, and I certainly hope for Tulsa that they do join LouCity in the playoffs, and you come up against, I don't know, Phoenix or Tampa, one of these really good sides, even conceding 1 goal could see you bow out of the competition. That's when you need to be able to switch on that defensive tightness.
Ownby brought this down. Turned down the overlap. McCabe. Jimenez. Jimenez nearly. Return from McCabe. Jimenez drives the cross. That's cleared as far as Suarez. Brought in by Melodo. All I heard was you comparing FC Tulsa's predicament to that of Barcelona, and I think that's what everyone in Tulsa heard too. Those are good problems to have in theory. To your point about Tulsa trying to join Louisville in the playoff picture, Louisville 14 points clear of Indy 11 right now. Good attack, springing forward here, and escaped through the legs of Jason Johnson, who played a brief stint in Louisville last year. Suarez. Toward the end line, Gómez closed it down. This will get off into the supporters section on the Estopinal end. It'll be a corner for FC Tulsa.
Well, you were talking about Tulsa going forward and how good they are and how many numbers they left up or leave up. It was 3 against 3 at the back there. That's the numbers. Have a look here. Have a quick glance across the back. It's 3 versus 3. It's a situation LouCity have to be very careful of. You cannot leave 3 versus 3. That was ever so close to a Tulsa goal.
It's a vivify corner kick for Tulsa. Melodo crossing. This is away as far as Bird. Melodo again. That's well handled. And out to Gonzalez. Piccolo. That's good effort from Rodrigo da Costa, the Brazilian from Rio de Janeiro. Gómez. Looks like he was holding hands briefly with Bird, went to ground.
I think it's going to be very chippy in midfield. They're going to be a real good battle there between guys who know each other well, have played against each other 3 times this season.
Ownby. McCabe. Gibson. Good leading touch. Gibson got the shot away. It's a goal kick. It's outside the post. The crowd started to roar. It sort of sat on the backside of the net in a way that got the nearly 10,000 in attendance up out of their seats briefly.
Yeah, Ownby again just creating things on that right-hand side. Tyler Gibson comes in, hits it with his left foot very, very quickly. He was probably looking for one or two others, saw that he had some space. Not too far past Sean Lewis's post there. But again, LouCity very, very positive in attack in these first 10 minutes at Lynn Family Stadium.
And you mentioned 10 minutes. This is the first time, this is the fourth time these teams have met this season, that there hasn't been a goal in the first 10 minutes between these sides.
Good stat.
And we're behind the pace.
Well, you know why? There's no Cam Lancaster.
That's true enough.
He scored 5 in 3 games. I'm sure when Tulsa saw the team sheet, they've gone, oh, great, okay. Without him playing, we've got a real chance, because there are players who just have this knack of scoring against you. And with 5 in 3 games, Cam Lancaster is certainly that player that Tulsa do not want to see much of.
That is tied for most of any player in the league against any one opponent this year. I hate to say it's not that hard to venture a guess. The player involved who's alongside Lancaster at the top. More on that in a moment. This is Gómez playing this back to Lewis. Haji Berry has 4. He's got 20 goals on the season. May well break Cameron Lancaster's single-season goal-scoring record. He's got 12 games left to do it. The player actually tied with him, Preston Judd from LA Galaxy 2 against Las Vegas Lights, believe it or not.
Okay, good stats. Yeah. He is a good scorer of goals as well, Judd. Very impressive player.
It seems like Galaxy 2 always has a few of those. Zubac was that guy for a while, Augustine Williams.
Let's look at the two styles of play. It's a 4-3-3 for the home side against a 4-2-3-1.
Sheldon, that was a magnificent looking ball.
Love those balls that are whipped in with pace. It doesn't give defenders really time to get settled, and they have to react immediately, and that's when mistakes can be made. So just to repeat there, 4-3-3 for LouCity going forward, and 4-2-3-1 with Jason Johnson as the main striker up front for FC Tulsa. Music in the background. There's a great vibe at Lynn Family Stadium, as there is at many stadiums throughout the country. The USL support is phenomenal, but not just with numbers of people, but it's the effort they put in, the singing, the playing of musical instruments. Absolutely brilliant.
Oscar Jimenez, who I mentioned earlier, played against Atlanta in the home opener and then did not play another home game until now due to injury. He's played 2 on the road since returning from that knock. Jimenez under pressure here, and the ball launched across for Suarez. Well, Gómez put that right back into the mixer, and Swahi plays it over the end line. And, well, that's a young defender putting a ball in a no-no place.
Just having a look at this ball coming in, and Jonathan Gómez at the far stick here doesn't quite get a header in, just doesn't quite readjust his feet, and afterwards he slams the, have a look here, he just slams the ground there in anger at himself for not getting a good enough clearance.
Vivify corner kick to come after Corrales' service was so good. It's Melodo. Scoop back up, Corrales crosses, headers away. Second header falls for Sheldon. Melodo lofting, it's a hair too high. DaCosta rose for it. Tosh.
Not quite sure what Tosh was. I think he was trying to find someone to pass to, and in the end, he was so busy looking up the field. Maybe nobody showed out for him, but good little pressure, or good little spell of pressure, I should say, from FC Tulsa. A couple of balls whipped in, as you say. A lovely one from Corrales there from the left, came flying across that young Jonathan Gómez was struggling to deal with. And as we predicted at the beginning, 2 very good teams coming head-to-head, a little bit of chippiness between them. There's not much to choose between them, and this could end up being one of these really great games.
You get the feeling this is one of those matches, and they don't come along often enough. But with proximity comes bit of animosity, perhaps.
Yeah.
Doesn't seem like these sides left on the greatest of terms after any of the 3 meetings this year, which is great for the fan.
Yeah.
Maybe not for the blood pressure of those involved.
Well, tell me about it. From Manchester United to Liverpool is only 40 miles away, but the aggro when we used to play them and vice versa. Man, scary stuff at times.
Obviously, in the first division at that time, I'm sure it was home and home over the course of the regular year. With cup competitions, do you remember playing them 4 times in a single calendar?
Yeah, we played against Liverpool on a couple of occasions when we won the FA Cup. We played them in the semi-finals twice. And on both occasions, we drew the first semi, beat them in the replay. So, yeah, in those seasons, we met them 4 times. And it never got less chippy or less aggro, I can promise you.
If you buy Gary an appropriate beverage, he's always happy to explain some of these Liverpudlian Manchurian issues. This portion of tonight's game brought to you by Toyota. Let's go places.
Still feeling each other out a little bit, the 2 teams. Both had a spell of attack earlier on, LouCity. Last 5 minutes, Tulsa, and it just seems to ebb and flow nicely, very finely balanced.
McCabe swings the cross. Gonzalez was leaning awkwardly. Sheldon had him marked pretty well. Nods this up and over the goal into Scouse's house.
It is. He's such a big guy, Jorge Gonzalez. If he can get on the end of things, he can cause lots of trouble. Just has to come back to get that ball, so he can't generate the power that he wanted. See him sort of coming backwards. And his coach, Danny Cruz, just saying that he felt he struggled in the last match away at Birmingham Legion. Didn't play up to his normally very high standard, and they had a chat.
Ownby bounces away. Ownby chips this out. And your point on Gonzalez, some of that conversation was he agreed. We had that conversation in game, too.
Yeah, very much. And I think that's what's great about Daniel Cruz as a coach. He's honest with his players. His players clearly were on his back and say, hey, I didn't play well, but he's such a good player, Gonzalez, and he's got the height to go with it. He's got skills, height, works hard, can score a whole bunch of goals. Only got 2 so far this season, but I'm sure Daniel Cruz would expect a lot more from him. He just needs service, though. You give him service at his height, I think he'll get you a ton of goals.
You saw the interim manager there, Danny Cruz, took over after the first game of the season. 11 wins, 4 losses, 4 draws. If you look back to last year, the team was 11-3-2 in 16 games in the shortened regular year. Pretty much right on that pace this year. Gómez, cracking service that goes off target. The difference, Gary, is last year with Sporting Kansas City 2 relinquishing the right to host some of their games, you actually had an uneven home road balance. Well, this year you have to play as many home games as road games, heavily toward the front half of the year. Louisville at home, and it means they're going to finish with I believe it's 10 of 12 on the road here.
Yeah, the next 5 are certainly on the road, which is why LouCity need these points as well. And I did say earlier on, for FC Tulsa in their fight to stay in the playoffs, this is an important game for them. Probably didn't quite explain that for LouCity this is also important because you've got 5 matches away from home. They've just been away from home in the last 2 matches and struggled. And they will look at it and go, well, maybe we don't pick up a whole ton of points on the road. We need our home wins. And they have been awesome at home. Absolutely brilliant. 9 wins, 1 loss, 2 draws. That's a great home record at Lynn Family Stadium.
I beg your pardon, it's 8 of 11 to close out on the road. Now home games against New Mexico, Kansas City, and Memphis. Sheldon did well to keep this. Suarez with a missile past Siegfried. And it is Tulsa who strikes first. 1-0 on the road.
Well, that is a fantastic strike from Dario Suarez. I think Parker Siegfried got a hand to it, and he's probably looking at it and wondering if he could have saved it. Perhaps the pace is just too much, but he's a long way out when he goes to hit it. I'm thinking, well, you know, it's a fair way. Have a look at the build-up on the right-hand side. Brilliant. Great control here and played in by Matt Sheldon. Does it take a slight deflection of Alexi Suwahi? Yeah, just clips his backside, and maybe that's why Parker Siegfried struggled to get there. I thought the keeper's going to get it, and it was a deflection that beat him. But well done, Dario Suarez, for taking the chance, and Michael Encian and company delighted.
Suarez bags his 6th goal of the year in the 20th minute, which again is the latest we've had the opener between these teams, and now their 4th game of the season. There have been 13 goals between these sides, and 6 came in the first 20 minutes. Now 7 of 14. Still plenty of goals late in the game, but first 20 have been miss a minute, miss a lot.
Yeah. And it's amazing how often Tulsa score goals. With Marlon and Dario Suarez scoring a couple of games ago, they're the only USL team to have 4 players with at least 5 goals each. It just shows you the attacking intent of FC Tulsa.
Oh, one of them is unavailable tonight. It's Marlon, Suarez, Da Costa, and Joaquin Rivas, who was playing last night against the U.S. men's national team at Estadio Cuscatlan in San Salvador in World Cup qualifying. We'll talk a bit more about World Cup qualifying at halftime. It's a 5th-3rd free kick for a player who was on the preliminary roster for the Gold Cup for the U.S., Jonathan Gómez. The 18-year-old. See this whittle back out to Gibson. Gonzalez eyeballs the penalty area. Still for Gibson. McCabe floats, header snapped wide. Well, you still had Tosh up there from the free kick, and he made himself as big as he could.
Yeah, he's always brave and strong, Tosh. He'll always be on the end of things. Knocked into the box. Have a look again. Quick turn. Lovely ball in from McCabe. Tosh, brave as a lion, gets up there. Be fair to the defender, just did enough to unbalance Tosh as he went for the header. But always a threat for those aerial balls.
Jimenez, the foul. Is he pleading innocence, or is he pleading to not go into the book or get a more stern discussion?
Referee John Matto has been reasonable, I would say. He's had a couple of discussions with young Jonathan Gómez at just 18 years of age. Just pulled him aside early on and said, look, dangerous sliding tackle. Be careful. And I like that about a referee, but there comes a point where they'll draw the line. And they have to be consistent. They then can't go and book someone else for a similar tackle. So I trust that John Matto will give all the players a little bit of latitude.
This is Bird. Law got it away. Decent feet briefly from Johnson to keep it, and now Johnson commits the foul. He likewise has taken issue with the call. Johnson, 8 games, played 102 minutes, scored 1 goal in a Louisville uniform, coming off an injury in 2019, was a mid-year addition for Louisville as they approach the playoffs. Danny Cruz, an assistant and technical director with John Hackworth at the time, referred to him as unselfish, great kid, great in the locker room, and fits FC Tulsa perfectly. All the while last year, John Hackworth saying if he can find his full fitness, full form, perhaps he's the secret weapon going into the postseason. Campbell slides in, Bird after it as well, and Ownby came away with the ball. It is the 25th minute here, and Niall McCabe knocks this forward in his 150th appearance. And Niall McCabe has crossed 10,000 minutes in the USL Championship, all with Louisville City.
Wow. I mean, that's wow on two points. One is that many minutes playing football, brilliant. And the other one is with one club, because those days seem to be numbered, especially in the USL. Players move around a lot, but for Niall McCabe to do that with one club and to do that many minutes, great professional, great attitude, and I trust he is truly appreciated there at Lynn Family Stadium.
And to see his family grow here in Louisville, beautiful. Ball across here toward Greg. And this will get out over the line. It will be a corner here for Louisville City. I just spoke to a coach who described Phoenix, El Paso, Louisville as places where you have 15, 18 faces coming back year over year.
Yeah.
The value that provides. Niall McCabe has been Mr. Reliable, large in part for Louisville, but has dealt with some injuries the past few seasons. A vivified corner for Louisville. They've gone short. Del Piccolo returns. Gómez. Ownby. Followed, shadowed even by DaCosta. There's McCabe. And look, you were at Manchester United long enough. Whether you're starting a family or you're trying to get your career fully steadied, to be in one place for an extended period of time is a luxury not many are afforded.
Yeah, more so these days. I mean, back in the day, you used to stay at a club, and in the end, I got a testimonial for 10 years at a club for the services rendered. But today, players just move on. They just go, hey, you know, I've got an extra couple of bucks over here, I'm going. So especially these days, for Niall McCabe, that's a great achievement to do all those minutes, 10,000 minutes with just one club. Much more today than back in the olden days.
Pre-Premier League.
Yes.
For what it's worth, there's a bit of contact here on Sheldon that you could argue ordered on unnecessary, as that ball was going to get over the line one way or the other. George Davis IV, who's still with Louisville and now in a dual role as an administrator as well, initially came here with James O'Connor, took less money, believed in the project, and that's a whole different kettle of fish. He's the championship's all-time leader in games played.
Well, that's a rarity. A player who goes to a club for less money must have sold him on the project, but credit to the player as well.
There's some slippage at this stage, it appears. Bit of light illuminating a lavender skyline in Butchertown. They're saying all United had to do was just match the contract, but they couldn't go under. Is that how that worked? This is Ownby going down.
Referee giving the free kick, taking quick look. There's some clubs when they come in for you, like Man United, you don't worry too much about the contract.
Jimenez, nobody home.
Good ball from Jimenez. Pace, flying nice and low. Goalkeeper can't come get it. And it's a pity again that big Jorge Gonzalez wasn't there at the far post. You were talking about Niall McCabe, and the coach Danny Cruz saying to us that he thinks that him and Oscar on the right-hand side both need to step up for the team. They need their help down that right wing to really be an effective unit. So nice time for Niall McCabe to step up and help his manager out.
Well, they're checking here on Moloto. Hopefully there's nothing more to it. But he is up. Tonight's trivia is brought to you by Tony's Break and Alignment. Cameron Lancaster has 3 seasons with double-digit goal scoring at Louisville City. Who else has multiple double-digit goal scoring seasons for Louisville? Gary Mole on that. Although I can tell you he's holding out a number of fingers,
yeah.
which I think corresponds to a letter.
Yeah, it's the third one down, I'm assuming. Luke Spencer, I assume, but I'll let you let us know if that's correct or not.
Good to see Meloto up and about.
2 goals versus Atlanta 2. Great game for Lebo Meloto. Or Meloto, you call him here. Meloto in South Africa, I think is the way they would say it there, but Meloto.
What a fascinating career for him. Through Lindsey Wilson College in NAIA, time in Pittsburgh, Nashville. He was adored in Nashville, and deservedly so. From your home country of South Africa. Yeah. Did you recognize the hometown?
Which is his hometown? Polokwane, yes, it's an area up north. It's the northern part of South Africa.
Okay.
Polokwane, yes.
There you go.
Like one of the stadiums in the World Cup 2010, for those who can remember that far back to the World Cup. There was a stadium in Polokwane. I don't know who played there. I know the USA played in Nelspruit. That's where they got that draw against England. And our English goalkeeper let the ball through his legs. Always in the green. I remember that.
Hey, it wasn't
Great
penalties.
day for USA.
Those were the days.
In case people are confused, I just must clarify. I was born in England, raised in South Africa, and played for England. Because people are probably thinking he's got a South African accent, yet he played for England. I just hope that puts those questions to rest.
It does indeed. There's only one commentator here with a Wikipedia page where you can find that out, and it's you. No one's yet decided to figure out where I was born. Put that online for any good reason. Ownby. Rolled across to Greg. Lost beneath his feet. Suarez. Well, to get that out of harm's way. And now Gómez streaks in. And he needs to watch out for a potential yellow card. Sheer frustration from Gómez, who thought he had won that fairly cleanly.
Daniel Cruz up as well, but Gómez is a great young talent, but he's still got to calm down in these situations. You don't want to antagonize the referee, even if it's a mistake. Just leave the ball, don't chirp the referee, just, you know, don't antagonize him. But he'll learn all those things. As I say, such a wonderfully gifted player at this early age, and I'm sure the old pros around him, the likes of Sean Tosh and Alexi Sawahi, will just calm him down and say, hey, this is how you handle these situations. Just keep it cool.
Free kick conceded to Tulsa. Sheldon and Meloto picked up grass stains in that incursion.
It's quite a dangerous place to give away a free kick, though, just on, you know, towards the edge of your box. Not quite that far out, actually. That close in, another 10 yards outside your box perhaps, but it's a place where you can whip it in, get it into the middle of the box. Have a look here. It's a perfect angle to bend it in towards your big strikers and central defenders. You can see Parker Siegfried just lining up his 2-man wall. Dangerous for the home side.
Meloto drives, header steered high. DaCosta's made himself pretty available on set pieces.
It's a decent header from DaCosta, getting up really nice and high there, but couldn't direct the header down. Very special player, DaCosta. By the way, some comparisons. Top goals, DaCosta for his team. Top assists, DaCosta. Chances created, DaCosta. So clearly a vital player for FC Tulsa.
Piccolo trying to help keep this, and out comes Lewis. Let's revisit this while we have a moment. Tonight's trivia was brought to you by Tony's Brake and Alignment.
Yeah, it is Luke Spencer. Oh, I'm pleased. It would have been embarrassing if I got it wrong.
Ilya Ilic had that one really outstanding season as a goal scorer. He was a good assist getter more or less every year. Same can be said of Magnus Rasmussen. It was in back-to-back seasons. Illich around that double-double. 10 goals, 10 assists season. which is oh so rare.
Good high pressure here from FC Tulsa. Look at the white shirts doing hard yards, just waiting for any errors from the defenders of LouCity.
Incisive start to this build-up. And Gonzalez latched onto his right ankle as he barrel rolls to ground. Homeby for McCabe.
This is a tough situation for LouCity. As he mentioned, the 4 losses have come from conceding the first goal. And FC Tulsa, 9 out of 10 they have won, and 1 they've drawn from scoring first. And what's more, they're missing a whole ton of players, LouCity. I don't think we've really given that enough focus. But besides Cam Lancaster, of course, is a massive miss. Corbin Bone, Wes Sharpie, Pat McMahon. These are all players who could influence the game either by as starters or off the bench.
Talking about half your defensive line for the vast majority of this season. You do bring Jimenez back into the fold. Sawahi certainly has gotten a lot of run as a starter previous. Corbin Bone, a no doubt starter this year in midfield. And then talking the league's single season goal scoring record holder up front. Although, to be fair, how often is it that he has 62 goals? That's 5th most in championship history. You replace him with another striker with precisely 62 goals. Kyle Gregg. Anywho, Onby. Could there be a 63rd? Not quite. McCabe. Visit LouCity.com/contests to enter to win an entry in the Urban Bourbon Half Marathon and the Louisville Water 5K.
Well, you can see Niall McCabe had a bit of a dip there from the edge of the box. He's trying to live up to what his coach Danny Cruz wants him to do, which is be impactful. Talking of impactful, you mentioned Carl Gregg. We haven't heard much from him. He had the one scramble in the first few minutes where he got up well and forced a shot that got blocked. Other than that, he hasn't got into the match, or conversely, he hasn't had much service from those around him. Either way, well, here we see him now at last.
That's a bit off target. Slows Louisville's progression. Is a transitional game of this nature somewhat difficult for a player like Kyle Gregg, who oftentimes thrives on banging around and sometimes dropping in, being able to pivot the attack?
Yeah, to some degree, but he needs service, and that's where players out wide like Brian Ownby can be so valuable to him. Getting wide, whipping in good balls, that's what he needs to get. And, you know, once or twice we've seen Brian Ownby, but not enough to actually create opportunities. There's no open O on the other side as there was in the previous match. Now McCabe has been more central than he is wide on the left. So, yeah, in summary, not enough service really for Carl Gregg.
Paulo Del Piccolo making any friends?
I think there was much on that, and I can understand Del Piccolo complaining. I think Moloto did well to see him coming and win the foul. Either way, play continues.
Well, Moloto, part of some of those truly extraordinary Sporting Kansas City 2 sides. Back then, they were Swope Park Rangers. And I don't think I'm speaking entirely out of turn to assume that the Louisville captain from those title-winning teams would remember Lebo Moloto from 2017. Oh, the referee may end up having to come back to that.
I think it was so late he actually missed the player. He might get away with it.
I believe that was Del Piccolo again. Ownby.
You see, they've shut him down well, haven't they? FC Tulsa for the most part.
Ownby goes in on Marlon. Ownby. Header away from Bourgeois. Danger's not over yet. Suarez. Perhaps a bit loose. Trying to create the transition moment. Gibson with a plethora of options. Gonzalez. Ownby. Jimenez making the wide run, but a entire convoy of Tulsa attackers in unison and then spring forward.
Just looking at Tulsa, they have done so well in the last few games, 3 straight wins, and in fact 4 of their players named in the USL Team of the Week. Matt Sheldon for scoring his 2nd goal of the season, Lebo Maloto for getting his 2 goals, Marlon, and then even had Corrales on the bench. So congrats to FC Tulsa. It's not often you can get 4 players in the USL Team of the Week.
It's a big league. There's a lot of other teams with nobody. Deservedly so for Tulsa. Suarez lofting and send this Select ball out of play altogether. Since 1947, Select has been the leader in soccer ball quality and innovation. Select, the official ball supplier of the USL Championship, many of the elite leagues throughout Europe. For the latest Select products and special offers, visit selectsportamerica.com. Flag is down. Gibson found Greg. Tulsa took the lead, 20th minute, Dario Suarez. Bit of a kiss off of Sawahi on a well-struck ball outside the penalty area, beating Parker Siegfried. Free kick to Louisville. All lofted out of play altogether.
It's a poor quality cross. You got yourself in a good situation there.
Well, it makes you wonder just how poor the quality was, because Paulo Del Piccolo seems convinced that that was a deflection, and perhaps more than that.
Well, that might explain why the ball was so far away from any of the strikers. But to be fair to FC Tulsa, they've defended well. They took their goal really superbly. Great strike, a little bit lucky with a small deflection. But they've worked hard. They've got bodies behind the ball. They've closed LouCity down. They haven't given Ownby much space. He loves to bomb down that right-hand side. So in terms of the first half as it comes to a close, I think Michael Entienne will be very happy with his side.
Tonight marks the 27th game since Lynn Family Stadium opened. Louisville's only lost 5. Make no mistake, there's an element of not wanting to lose the season series, an element of playoff position. You get the feeling FC Tulsa would like the idea of going into Louisville, grabbing all 3 points and making a bit of a statement tonight.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. As we said, there's no love lost between the 2 teams. They have bumped heads a few times, and nothing better than a team that you have your issues with than going to their ground and bringing home 3 points.
As you used to at Anfield.
On occasions.
Ahead by Gómez. Gonzalez tees this up. Gibson from a long way out.
For a moment there, a bit of excitement for Tyler Gibson. That's his second shot. His earlier one with the left foot was a bit closer. Danny Cruz just having a sip of water and probably just wondering what he's going to say in the locker room halftime break, how he can change things around, what he can do differently. And he'll also be thinking that, you know, 10-15 minutes into the second half of some potential substitutions.
You don't think the team talk at halftime includes, Tyler, you've only scored 3 goals in your pro career, right?
Tyler's not the one who's meant to get the goals for you. I think Carl Gregg and Jorge Gonzalez, another one who's been quiet for such a good player up front. And as I say, a fair amount of the problem for Carl Gregg and Jorge Gonzalez is they haven't got good service. The other part is they're going to have to go and get the ball and make it happen.
2 added minutes in this opening half. Stoppage time is presented by the Louisville Muhammad Ali International Airport. Sheldon. Meloto did sneak this onto the foot of Jason Johnson. Johnson, that deflected down. Still for Tulsa. Sheldon, a bit of a technical wizard in his own right. He's caught between 2 minds.
Getting a bit physical there. Carl Gregg dropping his shoulder into a few of the players, and it's maybe what it might need from LouCity to start getting a bit fired up. It's all been a little bit sort of comfortable, knocking the ball around. Tulsa will love it. They're 1-0 up. They don't have to take the game to LouCity. LouCity have to do something. And the boys in purple here are just not quite able to make it happen around the edge of the box as yet.
Ombi's feet swept out from under him. Quickly played. Jimenez. Tosh pops forward. Ombi left it short of Del Piccolo. Bounces over. Gómez sliding to make that more difficult. Dying seconds of the first half now. And a moment of offensive intent from Louisville. They had the game early on. Tulsa quickly found their sea legs, struck in the 20th minute. And will be celebrating his 10,000 minute milestone tonight as well, if all goes well. Underway in the second half. FC Tulsa with the lead and trying to grab 3 enormous points, the 3rd place team in the Central Division. Mike Watts, Gary Bailey. Halftime substitute Holpino for Gonzalez. Brought to you by MHS Global, above and beyond.
That's a big statement from Danny Cruz. It just shows you he's not happy, and rather than wait till the 60th minute, he's made the change already. It's a pity for Jorge Gonzalez. He's got so much to offer. He just couldn't get himself into the game, couldn't impact the game. And the coach has said, well, let's put somebody else on who maybe can impact the game positively for LouCity.
Ombi slapping the ground. Marlon trotting away from this, and will he avoid any further punishment? Given the way the referee has handled things thus far, you would think, yes, a warning.
Yeah, that's consistent. Good refereeing, John Matto.
A 5th-3rd free kick for Louisville in the 47th minute. Gómez sitting underneath that. McCabe steps in front of Marlon. Both feeling worse for the wear, and Marlon can't quite believe it. He's being shown a yellow as well. He'd just been told no more. McCabe will sit up. Marlon's going to get flashed the first yellow card of the game. And you got to think Marlon feels a bit hard done by that, because I don't think he really had all that much of a say in how this collision occurred.
Well, let's have a look at it again. He was just warned a couple of minutes ago, and that's always an issue, and he comes in late. But look, shoulder collides there. Oh, he wouldn't have got a yellow but for the fact that he got a warning a minute ago, and I think that's the totting up process.
what it's worth tonight, Louisville, Davis, McLaughlin, Jam, and Masoso are the more attack-minded options alongside Holpino. So your earlier mention of what kind of changes can you make. Jam has not played at all this year. McLaughlin primarily off the bench. Masoso in midfield, Davis in midfield. Louisville try and get something going off the set piece. It's McCabe, and the header snapped across. Clever idea looking for Del Piccolo. It's about a foot too far from Sawahi.
Good strong header, wasn't it? Had pace on it. Maybe just shows LouCity's intentions in the second half. Have a look at it again. Ball played in, nicely weighted. Big man gets up. He's actually having to twist his head a little bit, which is why it goes off target in the end. And I think with Anton Hopino, they've got someone on that left-hand side, Omby on the right, Carl Gregg middle, Hopino left. And if that is the way they do structure it, then maybe they feel he can supply Carl Gregg, because both Gonzalez and Gregg were waiting for service. This way Hopino becomes a provider as opposed to Gonzalez, who was on the end waiting the whole time. So a slightly different change in the front three for Danny Cruz.
It's good intervention by Chidama as well. Johnson steps in. It's a rare miscue in possession for Louisville tonight, to their credit. Scooped forward for Omby, tight angle. Omby crossing. Lewis contains the mess, doesn't allow it to spew out toward Gregg.
There you go, Hopino with a pass there, and that's exactly how he's going to play. He's more of a creator than Gonzalez. Gonzalez was waiting for service. Hopino here, he's the one who creates. Omby reads it. Maybe that's the three up front that will break through that very strong FC Tulsa defense.
You and I were talking about it a bit before the game. It feels, and certainly there have been times where this is a bit misleading. Sheldon's had to play up front due to injuries and availability early in the season, but it felt like when Tulsa's at their best, they've had that same group up front game after game. Louisville lately hasn't really had that luxury.
They've had a lot of injuries, and I mean, missing Cam Lancaster tonight is a massive one, but then missing Joaquin Rivas for FC Tulsa is big as well.
Rivas was among those who were away earlier in the season when these teams met with El Salvador.
Well, there's a long way to go. LouCity have come up for the second half a lot more positive. And with that change in Hopino, you never know, they could get themselves back into this match.
This will be a Vivify corner in front of the Estopanol end. Cooper's starting to lead. They aren't the only ones. Gómez, this is off the training ground. This is McCabe. Well, McCabe thought there was a little more that was supposed to come with that.
Yeah, I think he feels he put it into the area it was meant to go, at the height it was meant to be, and nobody was there reading it. And so the questions then, you start looking at the Carl Greggs of the world and saying, well, was that the ball you were meant to go for? I don't know. I wasn't there in training, but certainly Niall McCabe was asking questions.
Piccolo. Omby. Omby drives with a deflection, skied into the air, knotted down, and away by Bird. Reaches out to Tosh.
Get the feeling this is an important time for FC Tulsa, because LouCity have come out firing, the crowd are behind them, they've made their change. FC Tulsa have to kill this game, get on the ball. If they can get through the next 10 minutes, they might very well go on to win this match.
This gets beyond Holpino. Lewis picks up. Two beasts of the East clash to kick off a fall to remember when the USL on ESPN continues. Perennial contenders Louisville City FC travel to historic Dillon Stadium to meet Hartford Athletic. Potential playoff preview in the offing Tuesday night, 7 Eastern, 6 Central on ESPN2. Joined by Devin Kerr for that one. You know, he always brings the spicy commentary.
He's great to listen to, so make sure you don't miss it.
Not to say that your commentary is vanilla. You We'll always bring a fair amount of heat.
This is an enjoyable game. We haven't had a lot of goals, just the one, obviously, but there's a sense that it's very finely balanced. Interesting, LouCity have never lost by multiple goals. So if Tulsa really wanted to put the knife in to win by 2 or 3 here at Lynn Family Stadium,
Siegfried living on a razor's edge, isn't he?
Siegfried. Danny Cruz just fell off his bench then in shock.
Care to venture a guess how Sir Alex would feel about that?
Oh, I wouldn't have gone in the locker room with Sir Alex if I'd tried something like that. I would have just gone straight home after the match.
Well, Siegfried's taken the job with both hands. He's started now 7 matches in a row. Same can be said for Sean Lewis on the other side. Lewis stepping out of the lineup briefly for Austin Warmel, but for Louisville, it was Hubbard who was leading the way early in the season. Poor game opened the door against Kansas City, not once, but twice for Siegfried to take over. And after the most recent game against Kansas City, Siegfried's held on to the job.
He's played the last 6 games, Siegfried, and made some wonderful saves. By the way, in the last match against Birmingham Legion, he made a save from Nico Brett after 29 minutes. Point-blank save. Absolutely brilliant. Got to mention that it could be save of the week. And that's what he's been doing on a regular basis. But only 1 clean sheet in 7. And I think that's, as we spoke to Danny Cruz, that's a frustration for this LouCity team, struggling to get clean sheets. To be fair, Tulsa haven't had a clean sheet in 10 matches. So both these teams just maybe not quite as defensively tight as they would like to be.
I suppose in life, you wonder whether that can truly persist into a successful postseason run.
I did say they had 1 clean sheet, didn't he, Parker Siegfried? And that would have been the match previous to this, which was OKC. But it's none for Tulsa in the last 10, just to clarify.
Rolls over to Ownby. McCabe and Jimenez, those two certainly need to make a statement in their returns from injury. Try and make decisions more difficult for Danny Cruz when Corbin Bone, Pat McMahon re-enter the fray from injuries of their own. Ownby. McCabe continues to battle away for this. Gibson slides. Johnson holds on well and stumbling forward. He's turned this over. McCabe. Ownby streaking inward, but it's McCabe who swings the cross through the 6-yard box and out the other side, where Sheldon gratefully dribbles away.
That was a moment for Kyle Gregg. That's the ball that he thrives on. Something whipped into the box, and afterwards he was holding his head in his hands. Knew that he should have thrown his body at that somehow. But if they keep putting ball in there, you've got to fancy LouCity will eventually get that equalizer.
These sides were pretty clean in the first half in possession. Hasn't really felt that way in the second. A little more helter-skelter, which might in the grand scheme be to Tulsa's benefit, but when Tulsa leads, I'm not sure that's the case.
I think certainly LouCity have come up with a lot of extra energy. I've no doubt Danny Cruz had some harsh words for them. He still wants to finish top of the entire USL this season, and he can't afford to keep dropping points if he wants to keep that hope alive. 5
teams within 2 points of the top spot in the championship, which gets you the #1 overall seed in line to host the USL Championship final.
A loss last game to Birmingham Legion, a draw previously OKC. That's 1 point from the last 6. If they lose here today, it'd be 1 point from 9, and you fancy that they might find it then too difficult to finish top of all the divisions.
And look, you've got 11 games to go, but you only have 3 more home games. after this. These were points that feel to be #1 in the league, much less in the division, you'd need. Credit here to Michael Encian, who did not flinch an inch as his fiery glare looked outward, and a strong clap of the hands as well. Encian, a true Tulsa coach through and through. Tulsa native, grew up in the Greenwood district near One Oak Field. Ownby, crowd starts to roar. Jadama.
Good defending, 5 or 6 white shirts back in that box. Tulsa getting bodies behind the ball, making it so difficult for LouCity.
Ownby again, Lewis. High points that in front of Del Piccolo, who's finding himself higher and higher up the field.
Good pair of hands, Sean Lewis. Came and got that, no problems with it at all. A little bit too much height in there from Brian Ownby. He normally whips them in. But they certainly are making Tulsa work in defense now, LouCity. They're getting bodies forward, they're getting balls into the box. They're asking questions of the FC Tulsa defense.
Gibson stepped in. Ahead of the curve, relief around the corner, serving Louisville, Central Kentucky, and Southern Indiana. Advanced ENT and allergy.
A crowd letting their feelings known to the referee.
You think they may need to see the ENT doctors after this? Throats are going to be raspy. Ownby, oh, clever dribble. Del Piccolo crossing, falls in front. Gregg denied. Still Ownby bouncing. That deflection sees out over the line, corner.
The pressure is building, isn't it? The crowd are getting behind them as well. Lots of good defending, mind you, from Tulsa. Bodies in the line, blocking the ball. Craig's shot, that was blocked. Ownby's shot, that was blocked as well. But eventually something will go LouCity's way if FC Tulsa don't get themselves a bit more possession and keep the ball out of their box.
Vivify corner is quickly dealt with. Credit to Jadama, who just took 2 ball-sized welts to the leg. The service, the header. Oh, Lewis soars and puts this over the crossbar. Save of the week right there.
Lovely agility by the goalkeeper there. The header just didn't quite have enough power on it.
Service across won't make Lewis work any harder.
Lovely agility from Sean Lewis. You mentioned him a few minutes ago. He really has been in great form this season, as has Parker Siegfried. Now McCabe with the ball in. Have a look at the header that comes in. Just comes off the shoulder there of Del Piccolo. It doesn't have much pace in it, but it's going into goal, and it forces the keeper to have a really good stretch and tip that over.
And a familiar reaction at Lynn Family Stadium. Team that scored so many goals finally put something on target for Sean Lewis to deal with, and he gravitates, levitates, ultimately lifts it over the bar. Now Melodo. The pendulum could swing massively here. Corrales crosses. The whipped header off frame from Marlon.
That's always the danger with FC Tulsa from a LouCity point of view. They can counter, they can score a second. They have all these attacking options. The danger is, though, if they keep too many of them up front, they'll leave gaps at the back for LouCity to take advantage of. Having said that, if they do leave the attackers up front, they might get a second.
Gómez. A little dip here. The service! Basically rolled along the goal line and out the other side. Holpino. Still McCabe. McCabe lifting. Holpino collecting. Turns inside. Holpino crossing. Open header steered away by Del Piccolo. He's been lethal in front of goal all year. And almost too much space for the Louisville captain.
You almost try to put too much whip in it. Opener once again creating all sorts of problems. Absolutely brilliant. Firstly with that one across. Again, Kyle Gregg not getting on the end of it. This one, Del Piccolo's got all the time in the world, almost too much time, and he tries to whip his header with the ball, and it goes wide and way off target. But again, very close by LouCity, and it's come from opener. Give Danny Cruz credit. The change that he has made has created so many problems for Tulsa down the Tulsa right full-back position, and opener opening up chances left, right, and center.
A throw for Tulsa. This portion of tonight's game is brought to you by Toyota. Let's go places. Jadama. Corrales. In goes Tosh, bouncing off the back line to separate Meloto from the ball. Pressure arrives from Bird. Gómez. Oh, he's been a spark plug in this second half. Gómez turns the corner. In goes Holpino, he wins it back. Holpino, service once more, away from Onby, Del Piccolo. Back beyond Onby's reach to the penalty spot. And it's beginning to feel like Louisville is attempting to shoot fish in a barrel, but can't actually put any bullets in any fish. Meloto leading the charge. Meloto, a drive! Siegfried steers it off target.
That's a fantastic save from Parker Siegfried. A lovely shot from Meloto as well. He must have thought that was going to hit the back of the net. And this match just going from end to end. Now McCabe trying to cut that off. Just lays it up for Meloto. And he gets to about, what, 25 yards away and has a wonderful strike. Have a look at it from this angle. Parker Siegfried going to his left. Both hands, make sure it goes around the post. Excellent save.
And Oscar Jimenez is down for Louisville. And the athletic trainer has approached.
That's not good news after his injury problems that he's had. Out for most of the season, I think, with a knee injury. He seems to be patting that knee on that right-hand side. Let's hope it's okay. But while we've got a moment, let's talk about the other fullback, Jonathan Gómez. What a run down the left-hand side. No wonder the club is so excited about his talent. He beat one, he beat two, dropped the shoulder, went past a third, and tried to whip the ball in. Absolutely brilliant run.
Arrived from FC Dallas a couple of years ago, and Jimenez is back up and moving. It's good to see. Can't watch the match? Turn on Sirius XM FC 157, North America's only 24/7 source for soccer radio. Ray Hudson, Tony Meola, Rodney Marsh, and USL All Access with Mike Watson, Devin Kerr every Tuesday night, 7 Eastern. And also hear live action from the USL, MLS, Premier League, and more. All on Sirius XM FC 157 and the Sirius XM app.
That was Mike Watts recommending you listen to Mike Watts on Sirius.
Yeah, hate to see it. I've successfully avoided that all year long, and I autopiloted right into it. Corner here for Tulsa. Header down, Siegfried will claim. Next match on Sirius XM FC is September the 5th. Las Vegas taking on Sacramento later in the weekend. And then Tulsa and Indy will be on September the 8th. Louisville OKC will be on September the 12th. So plenty of Sirius XM FC action covering both sides involved in tonight's match.
This is Tulsa now just trying to keep possession, and as I say that they give it away, but trying to slow the game down. It's been LouCity coming at them, and Tulsa just need to get their foot on this ball.
Holpino, Del Piccolo, space to roam. Del Piccolo picks out Onby, crosses, lifted away. Onby circles, prepares to recycle. Jimenez arrives. returned to the field shortly after going down a moment ago. In between the legs of Del Piccolo, he goes down. Ball whipped across, header in front for Greg. Shrugged off the challenge, lifted into the air, settled, and a chance to get this away, and maybe some more. Suarez, who scored the goal in the 20th minute. Meloto now. In goes Del Piccolo. That is ill-advised to say the least, and Del Piccolo's immediately gone into the book. And Del Piccolo coming nose to nose with several players. DaCosta, Suarez, Jadama. The referee trying to stop this altogether. Vivify yellow card in the 69th minute.
Well, early on we talked about this being a chippy game and how physical it might get, and for most of this match it's looked quite decent, but all of a sudden it's kicking off now. Yeah, lets a bad kick out. There's no question Del Piccolo, I felt, went for the player. The ball's already gone. And there, it's a nasty one. It deserves a yellow card, and I think you just need to get up and walk away from it. But instead, they're pointing at something else, as if something else happened, and the referee didn't respond. But I must admit, if I was an FC Tulsa player, I wouldn't be happy with that tackle either.
Paulo Del Piccolo barking at the referee. Successfully kept what are described as very Italian fingers down.
It did seem as if he was referring that something else happened before that he was angry about. I don't think he was doubting the yellow card. I think he was saying to ref, hey, but you didn't see something else that happened.
At some point at home, when the result's not going your way against a team that's building up to be a rival, the fire in your eyes can be notable in and of itself. This is Holpino sending this away, and Del Piccolo's got to be the guy. It's been that way when injuries have struck. The Danny Cruz, before that John Hackworth, before that James O'Connor, always been able to rely on him to be the one who
fires things up,
to say the least.
Look, it is what you do when you're at home. You've got the crowd behind you, and that's a massive support structure, and if you're losing anyway, you get stuck in. It's what you have to do to try and ruffle the feathers of the opponents. And now I think the stuff happening off the ball, we can't see it, but
I guess that was longer than 6 seconds. Sean Lewis has gone into the book. Lewis, who had kept an otherwise sterling disciplinary reputation to this point on the year, his 15th start, and finally booked by the referee. Yellow card brought to you by Vivify.
Put it this way, if Tulsa go on to win this, they will have earned it, because I think for the next 20 minutes they're going to continue to be under pressure, physically, emotionally.
Greg runs straight into Jadama. Referee immediately wags a finger, says that's not a penalty. Well, Del Piccolo is frustrated. DaCosta running over toward Del Piccolo. Greg seems flabbergasted at first, and this is one that may deserve a look or two. There is no VAR in the championship.
And that's why it's very difficult for referees such as John Mato to make a detailed decision. They have to just go for the ball, go for the decision, and I don't think there is a penalty. I think the referee's got it spot on. But what the Tulsa players have got to avoid doing is start getting into a pushing and shoving match. The referee didn't give it. He went Tulsa's way. Get on with the game. But it's getting spicier and spicier as we thought it might.
Couple changes here. Paulo Del Piccolo is going to come off, and this may be to preserve Del Piccolo for what's a very busy stretch coming up, but also knowing he's gotten very much into the everything but punches of this game at this stage.
Well, he's lit the fire, and now he's getting out before he gets into more trouble.
Well put. A well-trained arsonist never stays. Overstays his welcome. And look, it felt like that game, this game, needed that. Well, Piccolo has certainly provided that intensity that perhaps Louisville was lacking early. Sheldon trying to close this down. Ball whipped across for Greg. Davis the fourth on for Jimenez. Sub brought to you by MHS Global, above and beyond. Tosh on the run. Handled that with ease. It's worth noting that Antoine Hopino just crossed 10,000 minutes in his USL Championship regular season career, his 5th club in the championship. So he and Niall McCabe both hit a milestone tonight in unison. McCabe's 150th appearance as well. Ball rolled ahead. Gómez running out of real estate. Referee instantly points toward the corner flag.
Trying to calm it down. John Mato doing a great job of getting in there quickly before tempers fray, watching everybody. By the way, congrats, 2 players in one match, both reached 10,000 minutes. There's one of them, Niall McCabe.
I promise you, it usually doesn't happen this often. McCabe awaits. McCabe delivers. Lewis. Right in front of Ownby.
Good hands by the goalkeeper again on a cross ball. Never easy getting bumped, but nice and sure. And what it does is just kills the game. You can slow it down, knock possession down the other end of the pitch.
Lewis drives this away and back toward Davis, who's going to show off his Swiss Army knife potential, it appears, at right back. This could very quickly swing into essentially 3 or 2 in the back as Louisville continues to fight. Fans head to Twitter, vote on tonight's Lynn Family Sports Vision and Training Man of the Match. Poll open the next few minutes. Vote now, twitter.com/LouCityFC. Tulsa, no question. Dario Suarez scored the goal in the 20th minute. But Jadama has been magnificent in the back in this second half. Bourgeois was excellent in the first half. Gibson, hard to slide in a game that's turned into an absolute slugfest, which most anybody could have predicted coming in. Substitutions to come here. It is for Tulsa. Johnny Fennick. And that's Kembo Cabato as well. Cabato in on loan from RGV for the season. The 20-year-old native of Toronto will replace Jason Johnson. And one would imagine it's not quite like for like. Sub brought to you by MHS Global. And Fennick has come on for Corrales. This may turn into a bit more like 5. Center back replacing Corrales, who plays wide.
Yep. Fresh legs, so important at this stage of the game, because that's the hard work now for, especially for FC Tulsa. That's very close to a yellow card, that as well. A kick out from Gibson. But now it's hard work for Tulsa, closing down, stopping LouCity from playing, and those fresh legs will be very handy.
Ball wound forward. Header steers up over the crossbar. Soccer Holdings Diversity, Inclusion, and Opportunity Committee will, throughout the 2021 season, name a minority-owned business of the month to assist with sustained change and support in our community. This month, we would like to congratulate 5 Star Barbershop, delivering the simple beauty of a regular barbershop located in Louisville's Jefferson Neighborhood walk-ins are welcome. Learn more at 5starbarbershop.com. Right now, there's still excitement, anticipation in this venue. It could quickly turn to frustration. That's a good step in and delivered away with Gómez in pursuit.
You talk about frustration, but Danny Cruz, when we chatted to him, talked about this place being a fortress. With all these fans behind us, he says, and no travel, we should be always getting at least a draw. And they have 9 wins, 2 draws, and just the 1 loss. So this would be a massive, massive blow for LouCity. And for Tulsa, it would mean 5 wins from their last 6 matches. Awesome form that will virtually secure their place in the playoffs. So a real turning point match in so many ways.
Delivered through, flag is up. DaCosta is offside, and DaCosta sends this out of play, and the mustachioed AR leaves the flag up, and DaCosta is going to be shown a yellow. There is an element where DaCosta knows better. Conversely, I'm not sure that he really cares. The yellow is brought to you by Vivify.
He has been in every single argument, right up in everyone's face, so it was no surprise that eventually he's going to get yellow carded. But it shows his sort of passion for the cause and for the fight. But you've got to balance that passion so carefully with avoiding yellow cards, because now one misstep by DaCosta and he's off.
Vivify corner to come. Gómez went airborne and still rubbing the small of his back here. All the while, Zawahi, Greg, forward here for Louisville. The service towards Zawahi. That's well dealt with by Tulsa with just over 10 minutes and stoppage time to go. The other games have had more goals, but this feels like the culmination of a year's worth of bubbling attitudes between the sides. Ownby whips the cross, seeking Zawahi, lifted away. Johnny Fennick just came into the game and kept that off Zawahi's foot.
That's a brilliant clearance from Fennick, because at the far post there was a purple shirt waiting to stick that in the back of the net. Ownby again so clever in putting those balls in the box, and you could see that it was Alexi Zawahi was just about to score that goal. Brilliant defending.
For years we've seen plenty of own goals scored in moments like that. Fennick dealt with that beautifully. Tulsa's preparing substitutes to try and kill this game off. Gómez drives the corner. Not his best work, but a second bite of the apple to come. McCabe for Gómez. Works on Marlon. Very few have a quicker first jab than Marlon does. Davis crossing. Zawahi collapsing down Lewis over the ball. Didn't have to move much, but does make the stop he needed.
The pressure just keeps on coming from LouCity. They just can't find a really quality moment. Good header again from Zawahi, but he's under pressure. He's got a bit of a shove in the back there, and it just puts him off balance again. Johnny Fennick, they're doing a great job just to put off Zawahi as he heads the ball.
Slide in from Cabado. And Ownby just threw him away. Ownby shown a yellow card. He was not on a yellow to that point. That was Cabado's first real run-in with the referee to this point. Yellow is brought to you by Vivify. Abdou Mbakijam is set to come in. He's calling for Gibson to come off, a holding midfielder replaced by a forward. Brought to you by MHS Global, above and beyond.
Well, if Abdou Jam wants to make himself a hero to come on and score the equalizer, I think Lynn Family Stadium will go absolutely crazy if he can do that.
Rafa Ayagua And Kevin Garcia are lined up with the fourth official to come on for FC Tulsa. Tulsa started the year with 3 wins, then 3 losses. Then they went 3-1-1 in a 5-game stretch, back up again. Then they lost 4 in a row. Now they're on 4 wins out of 5, the only loss in that span to Louisville. This roller coaster ride continues, and they're looking for what would be their signature victory on the road. That's such a difficult place to play. Meloto comes off, Iagua on. Sub brought to you by MHS Global. Marlone has come off for Tulsa as well. They try to stack the deck defensively. Garcia in his stead. McCabe. Header away, throw for Louisville. 1 sub remains for FC Tulsa at this stage. Ball lifted across and caught by Lewis.
Again, great hands from the goalkeeper. Look how it just calms everything down. Keepers who can't catch that or flap at it, everyone's still panicking. He has held on to it, and it's allowed his defense to push up. Everyone to get a breather. Have a look, and he's at full stretch as well, under all sorts of pressure. Gets up high, holds on to it. It's his own player who actually gets in the way. Good goalkeeping. He's done that throughout this game.
Shrugging off a challenge, Tulsa into the final third. Dropped off here and struck from a long way out. It won't challenge Siegfried, in part due to the deflection that leads to a corner.
Well, I guess a lot of LouCity fans will be saying, yeah, but we don't have Cam Lancaster. He scored both goals in the last home match when we won 2-1. That's the big difference, and maybe there is some value in that comment, but nonetheless, it's such a good LouCity side. You think they would have found a way through. They've got the Kyle Greggs, they've got the Brian Ombies, and perhaps credit to FC Tulsa for a fantastic defensive performance.
Which is not something that's been said for a while. A side that's potentially tonight showing a second gear with which they can win. Ball across, skims as far as Holpino, leading Ownby, tracked by Iagua.
They've got the free kick, but they haven't. Thought for a second the referee was going to give a free kick. Either way, they're on the attack.
5 minutes and a stoppage time to go. We talked about it early, and it may well bear out. Tulsa, only 1 loss this year when they've scored first, but perfect when they've led at the half. Louisville, all 4 of their losses conceding first. Davis crossing, rising in Ownby, and caught by Lewis, with Greg stalking behind him.
Do I repeat myself and say the goalkeeper came, clutched it, good hands, and kills the game? Because that's what he's done time and time again. Solid goalkeeping today from Sean Lewis.
A lot of talk about him being ready to lead, ready to be the #1 coming into Tulsa after a couple years in which he only started 14 games for Penn FC. And he's been on point tonight. Sheldon against Masoso. Sheldon lost his footing, and it does indeed eke over the line. Lucas Coutinho and Victor Milka remain available. 1 sub left for Tulsa. Jimmy McLaughlin and the center back Joshua Winder available for Louisville.
Oh, no clean sheets in the last 10 for FC Tulsa. Could this be the one? And they'll be so happy to get it at Lynn Family Stadium against their rivals.
Davis. The overload. Jam in his season debut. Clutched again by Lewis. Jam returning from a season-long injury. Played 26 games in 2019, bagged 3 goals, in and out of the team a bit last year. 6 games, 180 minutes. Nothing to show on the score sheet. First appearance this year with Lancaster out. Jam looking for a magic moment. Ownby driving forward at a restless Lynn Family Stadium. Drives this out.
He's frustrated. The ball was a decent one. It was curling. Just wonder if opener at the far post could have got on the end of it. It's a frustrating night for Ownby. He's put a lot of good crosses in, mostly from the right, some from the left, and no joy from any of them as yet.
So has to work quickly. Brought down by DaCosta. Ownby. Win here tonight would give Tulsa 2 wins against Birmingham and 2 against Louisville, the top 2 teams in the division on points. McCabe crossing. It's over Jam. Jam on the run. Seeks Masoso. Through traffic, McCabe. Winding up Hopino. Hopino is able to get around Cabato, and this deflects away. A corner as we approach the 90th minute.
Great defending by FC Tulsa. They don't want to mess it up now. Got to pick up tight at the set piece, keep their concentration right until that final whistle. Been a fantastic job so far, but this game isn't over yet.
Service across, headed away. Ping it back wide, but it's out of the reach of Gómez. Tonight's Lynn Family Sports Vision and Training Man of the Match, Brian Ownby. He's provided service, especially the first 10 minutes. He's been critical alongside Hopino up front in the second half as well.
Yeah, so many good balls into that box, and Carl Gregg just hasn't quite been able to read them and get on the end of them. It really has been such a positive influence, Brian Ownby, but just hasn't been their night tonight, LouCity. But again, for Tulsa, if they hold on to these 3 points, they will have 34 points. They'll be 8 points clear of Indy 11 in 5th, so their playoff place will look almost assured.
Sliding in Hopino, this gets out. Second half stoppage time is brought to you by Louisville Muhammad Ali International Airport. Referees adding 4 minutes, which will feel like an eternity for Tulsa fans. McCabe crafting service. Hopino brought this down out of the air, and with a bad touch, allows Tulsa to run some time. And down goes DaCosta. This has been a gritty performance. This has been proof that Tulsa does have a plan B. Ownby crossing to the near post. Who touched it last? Gesture for a corner. It was Jadama.
Jadama's been brilliant. Bourgeois, Matt Sheldon, they've all been absolutely fantastic. And Sean Lewis in defense. He's got to keep it going for just a few more minutes for Tulsa FC Tulsa.
Ownby. Got a piece. Tulsa tonight outpassed 2-1, outshot 3-1, which is to say 66-34% possession, shots 17-5, but it doesn't matter. And this has been as locked up a performance as I can remember from FC Tulsa this year.
Well, sometimes your stats aren't great when you score early in a game, like the 20th minute, because from then onwards, you can tend to drop a little bit deeper, say to the opposition, it's up to you to come at us and break us down, which is pretty much how Tulsa have done it. And he must be so proud, Michael Ensign, of his team and what they've done. Goalkeeper, center backs, midfield, those up front. And Dario Suarez with the goal. What a strike it was. Happy days for FC Tulsa fans.
Michael Ensign took over a team that was dead last. 15 winless. He won his debut game in 2019. And since then has progressed this team forward to the point where they have threatened everybody they've played. And they are likely a bit more than 90 seconds, but at least 90 seconds away from sealing one of the best wins of what's been a pretty good tenure, all things considered. A ton of new faces a couple of years ago. Started from scratch, and it seems like they've started to get the mix right in Tulsa.
Well, they've got 3 home games after this, and guarantee the crowd will be pumping. They've got Indy 11 at home, Birmingham Legion at home, and Austin Bold at home. So the fans who have seen this will want to turn out at One Oak Field and support their players. Oh, that's going to get a yellow.
Fennec goes into the book.
It's late. It's a yellow card. He didn't even complain, Fennec. He knew it. That was his job, to come on and try and slow things down and stop the opposition from playing. And he's done a very decent job. We saw him clear 1 and 2 at the far post under immense pressure.
5th third free kick, and there's not many chances like this remaining. McCabe. Header is away. Holpino. Lewis! Still Greg crossing. Skies upward. Davis. Away from Tosh. Lewis with a 2 or a 3-point performance in goal, no question.
It's a fantastic save. It's a brilliant save. The words man of the match come up because he's made all the catches that he needed to make under pressure. But that save there, the dying seconds of the match, he got a pat on the back from most of his defenders. I think the final whistle might very well have gone while we're watching this replay.
They've made a substitution here.
Oh, it's a substitution, is it? Okay.
So why DaCosta has come off, Milka has come on.
There can't be much time left, and that was the moment for LouCity, and Sean Lewis came up huge.
And this clearly has to be the last time forward. Everybody up for Louisville. Ball pounded up. First ball's away, so is the second. Davis. There was a stoppage for time wasting. There was a stoppage for injury and a substitution over the course of this second half. The latter 2 in stoppage. How much time will that buy? At this point, Tulsa clearly thinks the whistle has to go. Siegfried. Tapped away. Cabato rolled backward. Launch this into the attacking half, and this could well be it. Tosh. Deke Spy. The referee still allows this to continue. A full 100 seconds beyond the 4 minutes. And this surely must be the end. Holpino. Lewis has it. Referee blows 3 times, and Tulsa has gone on the road and